'Cause you are beautiful, no matter what they say. 'Cause words can bring you down. No, don't you bring me down today. Hi beautifuls, welcome back to my channel. Now this video is gonna be a little bit different because I initially planned this video to be a makeup video. In fact, I even planned for this video to be an unmakeup video. And the reason behind that is today is Are You Okay Day. And for many of you who don't know, Are You Okay is a suicide prevention charity based in Australia that encourages all of us to have meaningful conversations. There were actually a couple of things that I wanted to do in this video, but I feel like it's just one of those videos that I just want to sit down. I know I've said it in my previous videos a couple of times, but it's just one of those videos that I just want to sit down and talk to you guys and chat with you guys about certain things, which is related to Are You Okay, of course. Are You Okay is a big thing in Australia, and I hope that many countries would adopt this kinds of organization and would have a day like this, where we encourage people to just have meaningful conversations, and we encourage everyone to ask each and everyone if Are You Okay. For me personally, Are You Okay has become a movement than it is an organization, which is an amazing thing because I believe it has impacted so many lives in beautiful ways. And in today's video, we're just gonna have a little cute chat moment of how Are You Okay has helped me and my mental health journey in a nutshell, because that's gonna take a long video. So sit back, relax, and let's talk. So I first heard of Are You Okay back in 2017 when I first came to Australia. I had no idea what it was. I really was not sure what they were doing, but it was a day that people just had posters and signs everywhere. Companies would have huge events about this day, and it was just like a day where you encourage mental health. But I never really gained visibility to Are You Okay until Mardi Gras 2018. I wish I had the pictures. I first saw them when I was in a float in Mardi Gras, and the float behind us were Are You Okay people, and it was so funny back then. I was like, are these Are You Okay people? They're wearing Speedos and they're promoting mental health. Like really hot guys and really beautiful people wearing Speedos saying mental health is valuable. You know, it was just like, questionable thing, but at the same time I told myself next year I want to be part of Are You Okay because I want that Speedo. So I volunteered for the Are You Okay float in Mardi Gras 2019 last year, and it was very beautiful. It was one of the best floats I've ever experienced with, and it was just such an honor and a privilege to be in a float that encourages and rebels on the cause that you fight for in your life. This issue of mental health and mental well-being is very prevalent nowadays, especially in the boom of social media, and most especially that we're living in a pandemic. I also initially planned to share to you guys about my mental health story, but I feel like I said earlier, it's going to take quite some time to talk about that because it was just a process for me ever since I moved to Australia. But in a nutshell, I didn't realize that I had anxiety or I felt depressed until I acknowledged it. So in the middle of me earning my master's degree, there was a point where I felt like I just had to face it and I just had to learn to accept it. And interestingly, there was one time I joined this boot camp. So my friend Marty, he invited me to a rugby boot camp where we would go to the forest, we would camp there overnight, and we would just train for rugby because I used to train for rugby before. I didn't really play, but just trained. And I remember we had a bonfire that night, and the captain of the club just asked everyone to introduce themselves and talk themselves and why they joined the club. And it just dawned on me at that time when I was asked why you joined the club. It was my turn to speak, and I said I joined the club because I didn't realize that I was struggling with depression and just being alone. I needed to find a community, to get involved with people. And at that time, the moment I acknowledged it, I felt like I was coming out of my journey to overcoming depression or overcoming anxiety or overcoming loneliness. I believe that the first step of really creating a space for healing is acknowledgement. I'm not saying that I still don't experience it now, but at least now I am walking in a path of healing and I'm walking in a path of freedom. At that time, it was so interesting because I was earning my double master's degree. All these factors would just come to play. I moved to a new country. I didn't have friends or family. I was alone. I had a limited source of income because I was only allowed to work 20 hours a week during school days, and I could only work full-time during the breaks, which is like 1.5 months or 2 months. So you had a limited source of income. That means you spend as much and you can't enjoy as much because you're hesitant to spend because you're always thinking of how you should earn money or what extra jobs you can take, and you're always tired. And I remember I reached a point where I realized everything was just boiling up and just like building up in me. And I knew at that time that at some point in my life, I would break down and I would just like explode. And I did. Looking back at it now, it's just crazy. I'm smiling now, but at that time, it was the most difficult time. I lost my job. So I tried to get into the industry and I was working in a small property firm. And my boss told me we can't keep you anymore because my schedule was just not matching with the workload. So I broke down, long story short, and it was just rough. Like, it was a rough day. I remembered going to Martin Place and going under there's like a basement under Angel's Place / Martin Place in the CBD, and I just literally broke down and cried. But resilience is a very big factor in overcoming adversity. So I just had to pick myself up and try to push harder and harder. There's also a couple of factors that affect mental health in general. It's due to stress. And there are a couple of stress factors that are actually really huge. It's either you have lost a loved one, or you lost a job, you're moving to a new home, you're in a course of a separation or divorce, and many other things that causes high levels of stress. And research say that if you experience all of these, at least 3 of these, in a year, then you're most likely to commit suicide or fall into depression. In a year, I've experienced 4 of those. It was a learning process, and it still is. I remembered going to a yoga retreat in Bali. That was the very first time that I just felt like really light after the retreat. It was a way for me to pause and to just step back and say, I need time to recuperate and meditate and to energize myself. Yoga is not a solution to mental health and depression. Meditation is not the solution to mental health and depression. I feel like that's what people think, that, oh, yoga is a solution or meditation is a solution. And for a person who is actively doing these things, it is not the solution. What it does though, it creates room for you to acknowledge and to see your issues and to see what you're going through in a different light so that you can deal with them. It really helped me a lot, and I was able to deal with the issues and to just dig deep in myself. And people have been asking me about, how do you overcome depression and mental health? How do you get through it? The first step of overcoming these anxieties and these situations is to really acknowledge that it's there. If you cannot acknowledge it, if you keep denying it, or if you don't even know that it's there, then you cannot solve it. And I'm speaking from my own personal experience, and this is not a medical guide. I still do strongly believe that a medical advice would always be preferred. I think the second thing that actually helped me a lot in overcoming was mastering the art of breathing. And I know this will sound really yogi-esque, but mastering the art of breathing has so much potential to actually free you, in a sense where breathing brings you to the present. For some reason, and I've read a couple of research about this, I've watched TED Talks about it as well, the power of your breath brings you to the present. The reason why we feel anxious and the reason why we feel depressed, or the reason why we get attacks like this, is because we're so concerned about the past, or we're so concerned about the future, that we forget that we don't have both. We just have the present. We just have that. Another thing that really helped me is to create conversations with myself, hence why I'm doing a YouTube channel, because I feel like over the past months of us being in quarantine, I have learned to talk to myself more. I actually normally talk to myself a lot. Since the coronavirus happened, I'm just stuck at home most of the times, and I just talk to myself. Dialogues with yourself, if not other people, are very helpful because once you're going through this difficult mental times, then you really have to ask yourself, why are you thinking that way? We create stories in our head that most oftentimes than not don't even exist. And these stories that we formulate affect our actions or affect our choices. When the first step that you have to take is to ask who told you that, or why are you thinking that way, or what makes you think like this. It's these tough questions that we need to answer in the dialogues that we have for ourselves. And probably the last but not the least is to just let go. Just let it go, because there's no point of holding on to what's not good for you. Just let go. Like, breathe. Inhale and exhale. Enjoy the beauty of life. This Are You Okay Day, I hope that we spend some time to check on our friends, check on our mates, and ask them if they're okay. Are You Okay Day is not about us handing professional advice. It's just asking us to be there as a listening ear to our mates. You know, oftentimes than not, it's really about just being a listening ear that does so much, because we never know what people are going through. Are You Okay encourages us to have meaningful conversations with other people, starting by asking them if they're okay. And if the matters get deep, then our suggestion should always be leading them to get professional help. But at least the best thing that we did was to listen to them and give them a lending ear. Also, Are You Okay Day should not just be one day. Like, Are You Okay Day should be every day. Like, hello. So that's basically the reason why I did this video and a little quick chat with you guys. Oh my god, I just literally have been thinking about this and just wanted to take time because I cannot, for the love of God, miss this chance, because today is a very special day. If you want to volunteer to Are You Okay, I will link down their website below in the description box. They also have merch. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. I really do appreciate that. I just literally want to use this channel as a platform to spread good vibes, positivity, and good energy to the world, because God knows that the world needs it right now. Don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe, and do not forget to click the bell icon below so that you won't miss a notification every time I post a new video. Check on your mates, stay safe, and I will see you in the next one. Keep your gold shining.